Next, count down the funniest films ever on a special 20 to 1. It's the Showgirls versus the Battler on 1 versus 1. Then drama and intrigue on a thrilling CSI. The following program is classified PG. The 9 Network recommends parental guidance for young viewers. It contains some violence, some coarse language, and nudity.
Tonight on 20 to 1 Funny Films.
Get your needle and thread out, because you are going to need to sew your sides up.
From romantic comedies...
We laugh, we cry.
I was in love with him by the end of the film.
...to gross-out movies.
It certainly crossed many taste threshold.
Makes me feel sick.
We've got outrageous performances...
When he goes, whack!
He's horrible, isn't he?
...and non-stop laughs.
It's such a dumb movie. I loved it.
Good evening, and welcome to 20 to 1 Funny Films. Tonight we're counting down some modern movies that made us laugh till we cried. Now, comedy is a subjective thing. What is side-splitting to one person will leave another's funny bone completely untickled. So let the arguments begin with a movie about a crazy hitman, a stuttering crook, a beautiful woman, and a fish.
Hello, Wanda.
At number 20, it's A Fish Called Wanda, a comedy about a jewel heist where the motives of all the characters are a little bit fishy.
What? George? Moved? George moved the loot?
Oh, what a clever film, brilliantly written, with marvellous performances.
It was a smart, sassy, sexy film. I really liked it.
When 4 crooks steal priceless jewels, they soon realise they can't trust each other. And that's when the double-crossing comedy begins.
There was John Cleese and there was Jamie Lee Curtis. But for me, Kevin Kline, killed it for me. I thought he was just brilliant.
What do the English usually eat with chips to make them more interesting? Down the hatch. Oh, delicious.
That whole Italian seducing thing with Jamie Lee Curtis, that was just marvellous.
Speak to me in Italian. And he's going, linguine, pepperoni.
Benito Mussolini.
When he sucks on that, on the cowboy boot.
I loved that scene. I thought that was fabulous.
Stuttering sidekick and animal lover Ken is left to kill the only witness who can link them to the robbery.
There's a fine line with black comedy, Well, how close did they get in Fish Called Wanda with and that poor little dog?
Oh, God!
There's a wonderful scene where John Cleese is ready for lovemaking. The door opens and there's the prospective tenant standing there.
Highlight of Fish Called Wanda for me was Jamie Lee Curtis's rack. I mean, that woman, she's talented in many ways, let's be honest.
Most Hollywood actors are very careful of their image, but not Jim Carrey or Jeff Daniels, or they would never have done a movie called Dumb and Dumber.
You can't triple stamp a double stamp. You can't triple stamp a double stamp, Lloyd. You can't triple stamp a double stamp. Lloyd, you guys!
At number 19, Jim Carrey plays dim-witted Lloyd, best friend of half-wit Harry, and together they're dumb and dumber.
That's no problem, Lloyd. We can be classy and sophisticated. Look at the fun bags on that hose hound. I'd like to eat her liver with some Farber beans and a nice bottle of Chianti.
Dumb and Dumber. Absolutely brilliant.
Dumb and Dumber is a very funny film, and Carey is funny, but don't take your eyes off Jeff Daniels. He's the one that makes me laugh.
One time, we successfully mated a bulldog with a Shih Tzu.
That's weird.
Yeah, we called it a bullshit.
These guys are so stupid, and you just feel so sorry for them, like when they come back and he's just swapped his car for this crappy little scooter.
Just traded the van for it, straight up.
And you think he's gonna have a crack at him, but he's like...
Just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber, you go and do something like this. And totally redeem yourself!
Those sort of films, they just sort of wash over me and leave me with lasting impressions of the tongue on the ski lift.
Oh, look, Frost. I do this all the time.
Dumb and Dumber, where Jeff Daniels' character takes a laxative and then uses the wrong toilet in that lady's house. Oh, man, you cannot sit in a cinema and watch that and not laugh.
Well, the success of Dumb and Dumber, of course, it made the audience, it made us feel so superior and so intelligent that we didn't have the brain frequency of a houseplant.
We're going on a national bikini tour, and we're looking for 2 oil boys who can grease us up before each competition.
You are in luck. There's a town about 3 miles that way. I'm sure you'll find a couple guys there.
Good morning, ma'am. Up yours, digger.
At number 18, it's a film that's so shocking, crass, and politically incorrect that you can't help but laugh. From the comedy legend Mel Brooks comes Blazing Saddles.
Work. Hello, boys. Have a good night's rest. I miss you.
Mel Brooks is a genius.
Oh, I love Blazing Saddles.
It's just funny. It is just funny.
Released in 1974, Blazing Saddles was based on the worst of Hollywood westerns. The town of Rockridge goes crazy when a black sheriff is appointed.
It is my privilege to extend a laurel to our new nigger.
The black sheriff was a genius. It was a masterstroke. I mean, he was meant to protect the town. The town wanted to kill him.
The classic scene for me is when he's got the gun to his own throat. You know, everyone back off or the nigger gets it.
Drop it, or I swear I'll blow this nigger's head all over this town.
Isn't anybody gonna help that poor man?
Blazing Saddles. Can anybody forget the bean scene?
Everyone remembers, of course, the baked beans scene. It still has probably the most singularly funny second for me in movies, when that big guy punches out a horse.
Hey, you can't park that animal over there. It's illegal.
I mean, a man punching out a horse is funny. I mean, that horse went down like a bag of spuds.
What Mel Brooks did was he broke so many conventions, and the whole ending is just the craziest 10 minutes ever committed to film.
When they have the giant fight, it famously crashes off that set and into the set of another film on the Warner Brothers lot.
What in the hell do you think you're doing? This on you. I'm working for Mel Brooks. Not in the face.
What do you mean you don't eat no meat? Oh, that's okay. That's okay. I make lamb.
At number 17, it's a film about a family, a big fat Greek family, and the lead up to a wedding. You got it, a big fat Greek wedding.
Tula, my mother, she said to me, Greek woman, we may be lambs in the kitchen, but we are tigers in the bedroom.
I love that movie because I come from an ethnic culture too, and it's all too close to home when you watch that.
Tula's like the Greek Bridget Jones.
Tula is the dutiful daughter who, at 30, is under pressure from her parents to meet a nice Greek boy.
Well, you know why that was funny? Because it was just full of painful truths about being female.
Don't you want me to do something with my life?
Get married, make babies. You look so old.
I mean, they're all the things that we eat Tim Tams over.
When this ugly duckling becomes a swan, she finally meets a nice boy.
Did you want to see some brochures?
There's just one problem. He's not Greek.
How do you say, everyone, let's go in the house?
Echo Triahidia.
Everyone, Echo Triahidia.
The film took $350 million at the box office. A huge success for co-producers Tom Hanks and his Greek-American wife Rita Wilson, and for writer and leading lady Nia Vardalos.
She really captured what it was like in the lead up to this really over-the-top family wedding.
I'm a snow beast.
I love her dad who puts Windex on everything.
Okay.
Hey, what's that thing?
It's a mosquito bite.
Put some Windex.
Put some Windex on it. I've tried it, it doesn't work.
Coming up on 20 to 1 Funny Films.
They're very naughty.
That's my life.
I mean, people have been getting a bit of a giggle out of it.
It's the quintessential Aussie.
Guess what? There's the secret of life, right there.
I don't like it.
It's the Showgirls versus the Battler, and he's desperate for a big win.
Oh, totally changed everything. I'll be debt-free.
But who strikes it rich in a show-stopping 1 versus 100 tonight, 8:30.
Channel 9. Back to 20 to 1 Funny Films as we celebrate the cinema that had us busting for the loo. And if you're busting, then here's the film you need to see.
I think it takes a certain kind of person to do what I do, and it's just about having a thick skin.
At number 16, we lift the lid on a man and his portaloos. It could have been on the nose, but Kenny came up smelling like roses.
What you got to understand is there is a smell in here that is going to outlast religion, all right?
I think Australians have been waiting for a movie like Kenny to come along for a long time, you know, to have a really good laugh.
Well, I mean, Kenny is marvellous because people have to do those jobs.
You've got alcohol being served, as well as the food, and you've got curries in there as well, which does make a bit of a difference.
This mockumentary drama follows the life of Kenny Smythe, Aussie battler and patient plumber. There's no job too small or smelly for our knight in shining overalls.
I mean, only in Australia could you actually make show business out of toilet business.
Just make sure you stock up all the poo tickets, boys. This one's going to get a flogging today.
Kenny, to me, is the quintessential Aussie. The big bloke with the big heart who'd do anything for anyone.
Kenny works because it's such a beautiful performance from Shane Jacobson.
There you go, mate. Sorry about that. Just watch it in there, mate. That machine, once you press that flusher, that thing will probably suck your guts out through your bum. I mean, people have been getting a bit of a giggle out of it. I don't know. You know, maybe it's because, you know, me and the lads, you know, we've got a bit of a sense of humour. You know, the funny part is, everyone will deny the fact that they look at their poo, but everyone does.
So cared about this man. You know, I was in love with him by the end of the film. Loved him.
And we loved him too. Kenny was a smash hit at the box office. It seems there's no business like poo business.
When I go to a toilet now, an outdoor toilet, I tend to clean up because I want to, you know, I've seen Kenny do it.
Look at that, eh? What kind of curry's that bloke been eating?
At number 15, a movie where we love to hate Michael Caine and Steve Martin. After all, they are dirty, rotten scoundrels.
Excuse me, may I go to the bathroom first?
Of course you may.
Thank you.
What a fantastic film. Great cast.
Yeah, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, where two scoundrels tried to con a poor innocent woman.
They're very naughty, those two. Very naughty.
These two con men start out in cahoots, wooing and then ripping off wealthy women. But when the ladies want commitment, Michael Caine's character Lawrence introduces them to his little brother, Rupert.
Nice lady.
I mean, I really think it needs an accomplished comedian, someone like Steve Martin, to be able to pull those off.
Rupert, what a gem. We all know people who deserve and should have corks on the end of their forks.
Don't take the cork off the fork
Why is the cork on the fork?
to prevent him hurting himself.
And then he's poking himself in the eye with the fork and the cork at the end of it.
To actually drive that sort of comedy, to be the fall guy, is really, you know, that just takes really great skill.
We'd known Steve Martin from a whole lot of comedies, but we haven't really seen Michael Caine do comedy. It was a revelation to see him in this, playing a very big, over-the-top character.
Now, we know there's no honour among thieves, so when the boys fall out, they start competing for the same heiress.
I'll pretend I'm in a wheelchair to get the sympathy of this woman, and then the other guy counters it by, you know, saying that he can cure him.
So, you are numb from the waist down? Yes, sir.
Let me see. And he gets out this whip and he goes,
Do you feel this? No. How about?
feel anything? And see, Mike goes,
And I'm thinking, this is hurting. And he's getting caned across the shins. I think the girl said at the time, look, he's crying. No, they're tears of happiness.
Doctor, he's so happy he's crying.
and you can see tears rolling down.
It was a great scene.
Next up, it's a movie about 4 teenage boys trying to find love with an apple pie. It would have Granny Smith turning in her grave. At number 14, it's the teenage gross-out flick that's almost as wholesome as American Pie.
What's going on, Sherman? Not much, just scoping the babes. Indeed. Some fine ladies here, boys. Mm-hmm.
The plot revolves around 4 boys in a pact to lose their virginity by high school graduation.
We're gonna do this. All right, to the next step. Next step. Next step. Yeah.
It's like Porky's for Generation X, isn't it?
Mix and then bake every awkward adolescent moment into a movie, and it's a recipe for some unforgettable scenes.
Well, we'll just tell your mother that we ate it all.
It makes me feel awkward. I don't like to watch them, but I have to. Oh, no, I don't want to. Oh, and the awful conversations he has with his father.
Look at the expression on her face. She's kind of looking right into your eyes, saying, "Hey, big boy."
I don't like it.
Oh, this is incredible.
This is about teenage boys and the way they think. And the way teenage boys think is very different to the way anyone else in the world thinks.
Finch. Oh, stupid mom. Oh.
Okay, so Finch had the mother of all times, but on prom night, all 4 had their coming of age.
Woo!
Aside from all the gross-out comedy, American Pie did have a gentler side.
I think that's what's so clever about American Pie is that there actually is a sweetness to it. Guys can laugh at the gross parts of it, but it's sweet enough for you to take your girlfriend to, and everyone gets a laugh.
This one time, at band camp, I stuck a flute in my...
Excuse me?
And now to a film we could watch over and over. And now to a film we could watch over and over. And now to a film we could watch over and over.
Okay, campers, rise and shine, and don't forget your booties, 'cause it's Groundhog Day!
Love Groundhog Day. That's my life.
Released in 1993, this film follows bitter TV weatherman Phil Connors as he covers the annual event known as Groundhog Day, a tradition to predict the end of winter.
Once a year, the eyes of the nation turn to this tiny hamlet to watch a master at work, the groundhog.
But life takes a strange twist for Phil. For some reason, he keeps reliving the same day.
Well, it's Groundhog Day. Again?
Bill Murray, again, a wonderful screen personality because he has that amazingly funny face without it trying to be funny, and he played it straight.
Did you ever have deja vu, Mrs. Lancaster?
I don't think so, but I could check with the kitchen.
You felt the frustration along with him as every morning he'd wake up and you'd just see it go from 5:59 to 6 a.m. I got you, babe. And then he smashes the clock to try and change it. Didn't work. Came back to the same date.
I think it was a really clever film because it took him through exactly the stages that I think you would go through, where at first you're traumatised, then it becomes a bit of fun, and then you get cheeky with it.
Now, don't you tell me you don't remember me because I sure as heck fire remember you. Now, don't you say you don't remember me because I sure as heck fire remember you.
Ned Ryerson?
Phil Connors!
Ned?
Day after same day, Phil's attraction to Rita, his producer, played by Andy McDowell, grows. So he uses his Groundhog Day curse to seduce her.
Believe it or not, I studied 19th century French poetry.
What a waste of time.
Believe it or not, I studied 19th century French poetry.
La fille qui j'aimerais.
You speak French.
Well, after 80 or 90 versions of the same day, you'd hope you'd work out a strategy that'd nail it.
And while Rita falls in love with him, Phil falls in love with the townsfolk.
I have missed you so much.
In the end, he realises that he has to just be a better bloke. Guess what? There's the secret of life, right there, in a comedy film.
There's more laughs ahead on 20 to 1 Funny Films.
The worst bad taste scene I've ever seen.
We laugh, we cry.
I love that movie.
Makes me feel sick.
There is no greater scene in cinema.
That was classic.
Tuesday on 9, get a new lease on life. 7:30, a brand new show premieres with life's best experiences from around the planet. Things to try before you die.
You gotta love this place.
8:30, it's a second chance at life on CSI Miami. 9:30, hot off the satellite from the US.
I love LA.
Back to 20 to 1 Funny Films as we honour the movies that had us rolling in the aisles. If you missed the start of tonight's main feature, here's a quick look at our countdown so far. At number 20, a fishy but funny film. At number 19, Playing It Dumb is very clever. At 18, Giddy Up for Blazing Saddles. At number 17, a comic clash of cultures. At number 16, Kenny Comes Up Smelling Like Roses. Number 15, They're Dirty, They're Rotten, and They're Scoundrels. At 14, My American Pie. At number 13, we relive Groundhog Day. And at number 12, it's the comedy that combined the sound of R&B with smashing cars. Why? Well, they're on a mission from God.
Are you the police?
No, ma'am. We're musicians.
Jake and Elwood are two white boys with black souls and criminal records. They are the Blues Brothers, hell-bent on saving their childhood orphanage.
I will not take your filthy, stolen money.
The scene where the nun who had looked after the Blues Brothers since they were little babies, and they kept swearing as she hit them.
Jesus.
And because they swore she hit them again, and it was just a vicious circle. That was classic.
The really cool thing about the Blues Brothers is it introduced a certain type of music to movie audiences that maybe hadn't heard of it before.
You know, when Aretha Franklin gets out there and she's doing Think About It. Hey, think about what you're trying to do to me. There is no greater scene in cinema and music for me.
Dan Aykroyd, hilarious. John Belushi, hilarious. And the sayings that have come out of it.
We're on a mission from God.
Orange whip, orange whip, orange whip.
Orange whip. Orange whip. 3 orange whips. What kind of music do you usually have here?
We've got both types of music here, country and western.
Oh, we got both kinds. We got country and western.
It's 106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas.
Full pack of cigarettes. It's nighttime, and we're wearing sunglasses.
Hit it.
The Blues Brothers certainly has one of the most iconic car chases around.
Jake, I gotta pull over.
I don't think there's ever been a bigger car chase than that ever, has there? All those police cars they destroyed.
I think at the time it was certainly one of the most expensive ones ever around.
The Blues Brothers is a cult classic, isn't it? And I love that film. Who doesn't?
My name is Borat. I like you. I like sex. It's nice.
At number 11, it's a film that's both hilarious and shocking. No American, no matter how famous, is safe with Borat on the loose.
Agreement not necessary.
I was roaring out loud, laughing. I had tears coming down my eyes.
Really naughty and very, very funny.
This mockumentary follows Borat, a Kazakh journalist played by Sacha Baron Cohen, as he roams the US making a travelogue of the real America.
Knock it near my face. I kiss you. Yeah, you kiss me and I'll pop you in the ball.
I don't know how he gets away with it. It's incredible.
And my favourite scene in this movie is when he's at the dinner party.
She is your wife? No, that's my wife.
He sat there and said, in my country.
In my country, They would go crazy.
Oh, my.
For these two, not so much.
And that's when the party ended.
There's nothing Borat can't get Americans to say. No matter what he asks them, they just keep digging a deeper hole. You know, are you racist? Hell yeah. Are you sexist? We hate women. You know, it just dig, dig, dig.
We support your war of terror.
And I think that's what he managed to do. Push it just a little bit, you know, give them enough rope to hang themselves.
Mayor George Bush drink the blood of every single man, woman, and child of Iraq.
And then there was the worst bad taste scene I've ever seen.
Where he had the fat guy naked wrapped around his face.
And he got bike racked. His nose went right between the cheeks.
Oh, my God.
I haven't laughed so hard. I actually had tears coming out of my eyes.
And then they run naked into this 1,000-seat auditorium with people and start beating each other up on the stage. The faces of these people, I just find it hard to believe Americans can be so naive.
Americans are that stupid. Maybe they are.
At number 10, put on your Sunday best and don't be late, because we're off to 4 weddings and a funeral.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and the Holy Goat.
I think it's got the best opening of any film because it basically starts with the word.
I looked at my wife, we're sitting in the cinema, I said, how many times have we done that? How many times have we been late? And all we can do is just swear at each other.
This romantic comedy is cleverly constructed around a group of friends who are unlucky in love, but must endure what seems an endless stream of weddings.
The romantic comedy, we laugh, we cry, you know, the guy stands up and reads the Auden poem.
4 Weddings and a Funeral is a master of British understatement because it is hilariously funny without anyone really striving for laughs.
So, John, how's that gorgeous girlfriend of yours?
She's no longer my girlfriend.
Ah, dear. Still, I wouldn't get too gloomy about it. Rumour has it she never stopped bonking old Toby Delisle just in case you didn't work out.
She is now my wife.
The charm of somebody like Hugh Grant, who is probably underestimated as being a sort of successor to Cary Grant.
Hugh Grant plays bumbling Charles, who falls for the beautiful American Carrie. Following the inevitable ups and downs, we finally witness their nuptials, but not to each other.
I love that movie. I loved it. That's why we all fell in love with Hugh Grant.
It seems the ladies fell in love with Hugh both off-screen and on. For a very British film, it had a very Hollywood ending.
Hugh Grant says to Andy McDowell something about, oh, it's raining because they're in the rain and the rain's pouring. And she says,
Is it still raining? I hadn't noticed.
but somehow it didn't matter because the movie was so good it overcame the corniness of that one line.
Makes me feel sick.
After the break on 20 to 1 Funny Films.
Everything's funny. Everything goes wrong. What am I?
You gotta turn it up to 11.
Kate's been taken hostage.
Damn it! New McClart's Daughters. Drama Wednesday, 7:30.
Channel 9.
It's the Coles Mega Sale with mega savings. Like Pepsi or Schweppes soft drink 24-can pack below half price at $7.99.
Welcome back to 20 to 1 Funny Films. Now we have a comic classic that coined the term mockumentary. On a scale of 1 to 10, this movie goes up to 11.
Most blokes are going to be playing at 10. You're on 10 here, all the way up, all the way up. Where can you go from there?
You gotta turn it up to 11.
Does that mean it's louder? Is it any louder? Well, it's one louder, isn't it?
At number 9, they've got big hair, bigger egos, bad songs, and lots of lycra. This is Spinal Tap.
Talk about bum cakes, my girl's got 'em.
Woohoo! Sit back. Get your needle and thread out, because you are going to need to sew your sides up. It is brilliant.
I think Spinal Tap is such a wonderfully satirical film because it takes the mickey out of the whole rock star industry.
Set up as a documentary, the film follows the fictional British rock act Spinal Tap as they try to revive their careers and tap into the American market.
They've taken all these little bits of anecdotal sort of like road stories from as many bands as you could poke a stick at and put them into a movie.
Look, see? Still got the old tagger on it. See, never even played it. See?
You just bought it?
Don't touch it. Don't touch it.
I wasn't going to touch it.
No, don't touch it.
I was just pointing at it.
Well, don't point even.
Don't even point?
No, it can't be played. Never. I mean,
Can I look at it?
No.
So there's that great scene of Spinal Tap where they're all following each other around, lost in the bowels of the theatre, yelling, "Rock and roll!
Rock and roll!
Hello, Cleveland!"
I also think Spinal Tap alerted us to the serious problem of choking on other people's vomit.
The official explanation was he choked on vomit. It was actually someone else's vomit.
It's like the documentary perfected, or the mockumentary perfected. Everything is funny in that.
Our next side splitter deals with a moment all of us fear, and that's even before the use of the lie detector.
Oh.
At number 8, it's a film that sends fear into the hearts of men. You fall in love, you want to get married, but first you've got to meet the parents.
Mom, Dad, this is Greg.
Hi, Greg. I'm Pam's father, Jack Burns.
Yeah, it's great to finally meet you.
And I'm Dina. Welcome to Oyster Bay. Great. Oh.
Meet the parents. I think a lot of us could relate to that. I mean, the first time of going with your girlfriend, going to the house, and everything goes wrong.
Kevin was Pam's fiancé.
Jinxie, no! Oh!
Robert De Niro as your prospective father-in-law? That's a lot of pressure, especially when your name's the Gaylord Fokker.
Gaylord M. Fokker?
Yeah, that's me.
I thought your name was Greg.
Wait. So your name's Gay Falker.
That's just so cruel.
The casting of Robert De Niro as the father-in-law is the stroke of genius that makes this movie a classic, because he's the real straight guy up against Ben Stiller's lunatic.
And if I find that you are trying to corrupt my firstborn child, I will bring you down, baby. I will bring you down to Chinatown.
Could you imagine something more, like, nerve-wracking than having Robert De Niro polygraph you?
Have you ever watched pornographic videos?
No.
I had girlfriends' parents who wished they were like that. I'm not going to say who it is, but if you're watching, I bet you're thinking, I wish I'd put you on a lie detector test, you little bastard.
Partying into number 7, it's the ultimate frat flick, the outrageous cult classic Animal House.
Animal House was the business. They made it for $3 million, made $200 million out of it.
Focusing on the wildly misbehaved Delta fraternity and their battle against authority, Animal House features one of the great John Belushi's most memorable performances.
How many school canteens had someone walk in, put a cream bun in their mouth or some yogurt, and go, "What am I?"
I'm a zit. Get it?
I just remember John Belushi was just so disgusting in this film. He was sort of that guy that he would be the funny guy at the party, but you really wouldn't want to get too close to him.
Thanks. I needed that.
The moment you start going at a horse with a chainsaw, you have cinema classics. Godfather 1, Animal House.
I remember the toga party.
That's a wild old party, that, wasn't it? Gee whiz.
It was just heaven. It's all you wanted to do was go to a party that had beer in kegs and people in togas. And I think that was one of the first things we organised when we got into high school. And I think the idea of that is, just maybe, somebody's not wearing underwear underneath.
You know, the great thing about Animal House, it has no sugary ending. If you remember the end of Animal House, it's pure chaos.
Still to come on 20 to 1 Funny Films.
Still think of that when I see someone with the wrong kind of bad hair.
It certainly crossed many taste thresholds.
It's excruciating, but enjoyable.
It's the best movie of all time. Love it to bits.
Good evening. Gold Coast terror suspect Dr Mohammed Hanif remains in police custody tonight as his lawyers plan an appeal against the government's decision to cancel his visa only an hour after he was granted bail on terror charges. 4 separate inquiries have been launched into the deaths of 2 rail workers this morning on tracks in the Hunter Valley. A new study...
Welcome back to 20 to 1 Funny Films, counting down some of the big screen's big laughs. At number 6, it's a film about golfers and gophers. This is definitely one for the blokes. It's Caddyshack.
Hey, everybody, we're all gonna get laid.
Love Caddyshack.
Without doubt, the funniest movie I've ever seen.
This is Bushwood Country Club, where it's par to attack the members. The caddies carry more attitude than golf clubs, and the greenkeeper is hunting a mischievous gopher.
You're one of the lowest members of the food chain, and you'll probably be replaced by the rat.
The film that made you realise that Bill Murray was a genius, especially the way he takes on this commando role.
Whenever possible, you look like one.
Funnily enough, I don't like Bill Murray in Caddyshack at all, and I hope that the gopher kills him.
Freeze, gopher!
There's a whole generation of men, and it is men, because women have far too much brains for this. We'll sit around after a couple of beers and just do scenes from Caddyshack. Danny, do you take drugs?
You take drugs, Danny? Every day. Good. Cinderella story, out of nowhere.
It's in the hole! It's in the hole!
The polywaffle in the swimming pool. I mean, it's been done many times, but I don't think it's been done as well as in Caddyshack. And when the pool was drained and Bill Murray ate the polywaffle...
There it is! It's no big deal.
Chevy Chase giving one of his funniest performances. Beep, 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 beep.
Oh, somebody's stuffing a duck.
It's the best movie of all time. Love it to bits.
At number 5, it's the smash hit from the kings of gross-out comedy, the Farrelly brothers. With her own set of stalkers, no one can deny there's something about Mary.
Hi, Ted.
Hey, Mary.
I love Something About Mary. I think that was, at the time, I was like, this is the funniest film I've ever seen.
There's something about Mary forever tarnished the silver screen with its offensive, crass comedy, but it sure made people laugh.
I tell you what it works, it is a roaring, laugh-out-loud movie. The zipper scene is one of those ones where everyone just sits there and roars.
And he wasn't careful enough. It got caught. He screamed. We all felt it.
Every man in every cinema around the world was going,
We got a bleeder! Keep the pressure on. Keep it on.
The hair gel scene is the most classic scene, you know? I still think of that when I see someone with the wrong kind of bad hair.
A woman's hair was stuck up because of something that was in it.
Is that hair gel?
It certainly crossed many taste thresholds, but it crossed them tastefully.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of people talk about Cameron Diaz and Ben Stiller, but the fact is that Matt Dillon is actually really funny in that movie too.
His interaction with Cameron Diaz's brother was some of the funniest stuff I've ever seen on film.
I work with retards.
Isn't that a little politically incorrect?
Oh, that's it. For the retards, you gotta love those bastards.
Those goofy bastards are just about the best thing I've got going.
I still love that.
It's arguably the finest work from one of the screen's funniest men. At number 4, Peter Sellers invites you to The Party.
I tell you, tonight is one big round of laughter.
This is one of those movies that if it ever comes on, I think I'll just watch a few minutes of this and end up watching the whole thing again.
Man, and the whole film is brilliant.
Sellers plays an incompetent film extra who, after blowing it on set, mistakenly ends up on the party A list instead of the film studio's blacklist.
I'll see to it you never make another movie again!
From the moment he arrives, he can't put a foot right.
It was a beautiful performance by Peter Sellers because it started out so delicately, almost Chaplin-esque, but with a Peter Sellers spin to it, and it gradually grew throughout the movie to a catastrophe.
Out of this clever comedy came some curious, unforgettable quotes.
Birdie num num.
Birdie num num.
Birdie num num.
Birdie num num.
I don't even know what that means. What does it mean?
Howdy, partner.
Howdy, partner.
Howdy, partner.
Howdy, partner. Partner.
The toilet sequence with the toilet paper.
This film proves that sometimes the simplest humour is the best.
And even now, sometimes when you use a toilet roll that gets a life of its own, I think of that scene.
Almost plotless, the party essentially serves as a series of set pieces to highlight the comic talents of Peter Sellers.
It's just the lunacy of the party, the charm of Peter Sellers, just the embarrassment of the situations that he finds himself in. It's excruciating, but enjoyable.
Blake Edwards, the director, had a 53-page outline, which was then handed to Peter Sellers, who then went on and ad-libbed what, in my opinion, is one of the funniest films ever made.
After the break, we reveal our top 3 funny films.
It's the Showgirls versus the Battler, but who strikes it rich? A show-stopping 1 versus 100 coming up next.
Channel 9. Welcome back to 20 to 1 as we reach our top 3 funny films. Our third-placed movie introduced us to a groovy character that made us horny, baby. At number 3, he's sharp, debonair, and only a tiny bit hairy. It's Austin Powers.
Okay, name. Austin Danger Powers. Sex? Yes, please.
Austin Powers, international man of mystery, a man locked in the 60s.
Defrosted in the 90s to destroy Dr. Evil, Austin finds the world is a changed place.
Project Vulcan is about to begin.
He's got to be the best character ever, I reckon. Dr. Evil. $1 million. Perfect James Bond ripoff. Perfect.
Like James Bond, but a complete piss take, you know, kind of 008 instead of 007.
I mean, in the James Bond movie, there was Pussy Galore. In this one, there's an Italian woman by the name of Alotta Vagina.
This is my Italian confidential secretary, Alotta Vagina. Come again.
A lot of vagina.
The whole play-off of someone who isn't very attractive to look at for the ladies.
He's just disgusting. It gets all the women on. He's horrible, isn't he?
May I wash you?
Oh, groovy, baby.
It's the mojo. It's got to be the mojo.
The film's creator, Mike Myers, might be clever at crafting characters, but he's also coined some catchphrases.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby.
Oh, behave.
Oh, behave.
Should we shag now? Should we shag later?
Shall we shag now or shall we shag later?
He was very shagadelic, you know, in a way.
At number 2, it's the movie that would be about a terrifying plane disaster, if only it wasn't so funny. Please fasten your seatbelt, because we're flying high.
Flight 209er, clear for Vector 324.
We have clearance, Clarence.
Roger, Roger. What's our Vector, Victor?
It's such a dumb movie. I loved it. I thought it was hilarious.
This woman has to be gotten to a hospital.
A hospital? What is it?
It's a big building with patients.
Flying High was a really funny send-up of all of the airport movies that have been made. But this movie actually sent the whole thing up mercilessly.
Well, Flying High is one of those movies where the sayings from it have just become standard use.
You ever been in a cockpit before?
No, sir, I've never been up in a plane before.
You ever seen a grown man naked?
You ever seen a grown man naked?
Surely you can't be serious.
Surely you can't be serious. I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Really, it was just a gag fest. There was nothing on screen that wasn't a gag.
Cream? No, thank you. I take it black. Like my men.
For me, I like my coffee white with 2, like my women, but there you go.
There is only one river.
With 1 million gags a minute and a cast of high-flying actors, the movie took over $80 million at the box office.
At this point, the entire digestive system collapses, accompanied by uncontrollable flatulence.
I went to see it once and then had to go back and see it again because I missed most of the jokes from laughing at it the first time.
The woman getting hysterical and everyone's just taking turns belting her over the head.
Doctor, you want it on the phone.
You know, and it just went from, like a glove to, right down the end of the line, someone had like a massive hammer and someone else had a tomahawk, and it's like, this is absurd.
They had the blow-up pilot.
Oh, my God, the automatic pilot, it's deflating.
It went down, did it not? And it needed to be reinflated.
Where are they going to put the nozzle?
On the belt line of the automatic pilot, there is a hollow tube. Now, that is the manual inflation nozzle. Pull it out and blow on it.
Thank you, Flying High.
And that brings us to tonight's #1 funny film. And in such a subjective and controversial list, I hope you don't laugh at our choice. Or I do hope you laugh at our choice. Either way, we think it's worthy of our top spot. At #1, from the makers of Monty Python, comes the sharpest of satire. Not to be confused with the life of the Messiah.
He's not the Messiah.
He's a very naughty boy.
He's a very naughty boy.
This is the life of Brian.
He is the Son of God, our Messiah, King of the Jews. By what name are you calling him? Brian!
One of the great movies ever made.
It was so clever.
Everything just fell into place.
I think this movie should be played in a double bill with The Passion of Christ.
Set in biblical times, this film had a strange take on the message of Jesus.
Baker!
Quiet, Mum. What was that? I think it was Blessed Are the Cheesemakers.
Yeah, and blessed are the cheesemakers. I love cheese too, so they don't get blessed enough.
The bit I love in The Life of Brian is when he's carrying the cross and the guy offers to help him.
Let me shoulder your burden, brother. Oh, thank you.
He just goes, right, there you go, and bugs off.
Hey! Hey! What are you doing? It's not my cross. Shut up! Get on with it!
Is there a Brian here? A Brian?
Where is Brian of Nazareth? I have an order for his release. Yeah, I'm Brian of Nazareth. Take him down. I'm Brian! I'm Brian! I'm Brian!
I'm Brian and so's my wife.
I'm Brian and so's my wife! Hail, Messiah! I am not the Messiah, do you understand? Honestly!
Only the true Messiah denies his divinity.
What? Well, what sort of chance does that give me? All right, I am the Messiah! He is! He is the Messiah!
I particularly loved the ending because I love the song.
Always look on the bright side of life.
If there's one thing you really shouldn't be able to make too much fun of, it would be the life of Jesus. So someone had to do it, and you couldn't really think of anyone better than the Python Boys to do it. It's perfect. It's a perfect film.
That wasn't the life of the Messiah. It was just a very naughty film. Well, that's it for tonight's romp through some of cinema's greatest laughs. Join us again next time for another 20 to 1. Good night. Next week on 20 to 1, magnificent movies. From action adventures
I'm like, oh, no.
to side-splitting comedies.
Whoa! Now that was outrageous comedy that worked.
We've got family favourites.
But who hasn't done that? Who doesn't set their own breasts on fire?
Let yourself go with it.
And big-screen blockbusters.
Okay, somebody, let's sink this baby.
Woohoo!